Man, Reese. Thank you, sir.
Honey, what are you doing?
Oh, I figured if I rubbed my lawn and said drumlandscapesupply.com, I'd have the dream lawn I've always wanted.
The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC.
I want to see the kind of industries that are opening up.
This is Local Biz Now with Joe Vagnone, where your business matters. Local Biz Now.
You have to determine what is working, what isn't working.
Joe Vagnone is a respected business broker, helping individuals buy and sell businesses. Joe has successfully owned and operated many companies in a variety of industries. This is Local Biz Now, because your business matters.
Yeah. You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnone. This is the #1 live talk business show in North Carolina. We've been going strong for 11 years. We are coming to you live from our Burner Cigar studio. Burner Cigar is the home of fine premium cigars and cigar smokers in the world. I get to say it. I go in there. I believe it. Till somebody proves me differently. Cigars is the best in the world. That being said, they are great people. They offer premium cigars. Life is good at Burner Cigar in Birkdale Village and also their new location on Highway 16 in Denver. Please go by there. Tell them that
any
Joe
news
sent
on
you.
the third location?
They are working on the third location.
No hints.
No hints
Like
yet.
you saw that guy wrote a book recently about hiding some treasure in the mountains.
No,
You know that one?
I didn't know
Oh
that.
yeah.
No.
Oh well, that's another show. But yeah. But if they give us just a little hint.
So that was James Sanders. He is a friend of mine. He also is the owner and the founder of Shared Resources. Those of you that know me and have watched the show know that if it's got to do with IT, I don't believe it unless James says it. And James is my co-host for the entire month, and he is with us here today. James, my friend, thank you so much, buddy, for being here.
Happy to be here. Proud to serve.
So you know what comes next. If it's Monday afternoon,
Your business matters.
yeah, we hope to inspire, inform, and entertain you, because that's what we do here at News Talk WSIC. And let's kind of jump right in, buddy. Remind everybody, it can't possibly be somebody who's hearing this radio program right now not know who and what Shared Resources is all about.
All right,
but
yes.
just in case the two people that just came of age are listening, right?
Right. Well, they just hit our area,
that's
maybe
right.
coming from the west.
That's right.
To hang out for a while.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. So if you're that's absolutely correct.
Shared Resources?
If you're not used to hearing Local Biz Now, we are a small business program and we talk live to small business people. We hope to inspire, inform, and entertain you. And James has been with me many times over the years, and he is an IT extraordinaire. Is that fair? Can I say that?
Sure.
Okay.
I'll take it. I'll take
So
that.
what is Shared Resource all about, buddy?
Shared Resources Technology Solutions is Main Street IT support, but we take care of you as though you are enterprise global organization. So same solutions, but at your budget.
So the last time we talked, you warned me of all the security threats that could happen with IT, right? And
That's
what
correct.
to do, what to worry about. You told me that my wife's brand new champagne color washer and dryer could be connecting me to the dark web.
Oh, yes,
and
that's
there
right.
could be problems.
Yes.
You thought I forget that, but I remember that.
You do remember that. That's
That's right.
interesting. Yeah.
And
The
so-
Internet of Things apocalypse.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so you got me all worried about all the things people going to be messing with me and bothering me and all such and whatnot. And then this week happens.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got me totally realizing now not only do I need batteries, right, and
Oh, yeah.
candles, right,
Right.
and blankets, and I have to deal with
It's back to
IT and some kind of internet becomes as important for connecting me and running my business as any singular thing that I've got now.
That's it. It's back to the basics in a situation like this. There's never a list of things you should be doing that don't include backups.
Okay, because I know you got a list of things we're
I
going
do,
to talk about.
yes.
But let me just start with this.
Yes.
I got a problem with the cloud. Because if the cloud, I can't get to it, the cloud is useless to me. And if the stuff was already on my computer like it used to be back in the good old days when I could buy the software and then I could continue to run and do business, but now I can't even do business if I'm in the soak town of Asheville
Yes.
or Western Carolina because I can't get to the cloud. You see my problem?
I see your problem, and I have thought a lot.
What say you?
What say I? Said I have thought a lot about this over the past few days, and it has to suck to be a small business owner
Yeah.
who has no internet, no electricity.
Right. We
But
were forced
this is it-
into the cloud. Okay. You
Yes.
pushed me there.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
You told me it was the best thing for
Yes.
me.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
And now all the water is taking my first floor. So now I got to go to the second floor to live. Right. And now I can't even text anybody or do any emails
firstly,
or such and whatnot.
I feel for you because as a small business person, that is a huge piece of your life. And right now, you have to take a break and you need to focus on the basics. You got to get someplace safe. You got to get some communications out to people to let them know that you're doing okay. But I do have a whole lot of steps on how to recover a small business when this kind of stuff happens.
Okay.
Yes.
And so, let's dig in.
Okay.
Let's
All right.
let's do that.
I wrote this. I wrote this in the spirit of helping the small
Right.
businesses that are in the position that they're in, and I have it published. You talk about sometimes you talk about me putting stuff up on the cloud. This
you
one,
are the Google.
Well, this one I felt really
Okay.
compelled to get out there to get
Okay.
the message out. But it's called Technology-Related Steps to Recover and Rebuild After a Natural Disaster. Crap happens, right? That's a great deal.
But honestly, it is funny, James, because this is a issue that I would not have even thought of 5-6 years ago. Like it wouldn't have been top on my list to add
Right.
to deal with my computer. Like whatever,
Right.
that's the last thing I care about. But now it becomes one of the top 5.
A quality IT provider, and a little secret of our industry is that anyone can say they're an IT provider. Throw up a shingle.
Quality.
Yes, throw up a shingle and pretend like they're providing great service to you, right? But a quality IT provider, and we'll be in business 25 years in January, so really excited about that. I'm going to get new business cards, I think.
Hey, nice.
But
big 25 on the back of the car.
That's it, yeah. But a key piece of that would be disaster preparedness. I mean, this is pre-COVID our conversations. As technology has evolved to deal with things like hurricanes, then an IT provider should be having conversations with the customers about that to be prepared. And so for every single one of our customers, we have a disaster preparedness plan that comes just short of naming names of who we're going to call. The approach we take is a generic, like we'll use the terms key players.
And up until a couple of days ago, I'd have laughed and said, "Oh, come on, we don't need that." But listen, we've went through a financial crisis. We went through a pandemic. We've gone through floods.
Yes.
Hurricanes. This is no longer just a big business issue. It really is something we all got to think about.
It's building resilience for small businesses, and you know that.
Yep.
I mean, you have got to. We'll talk about it later.
Let we come back. We're going to dig into it.
I look forward to it.
You
Thank
are listening to Local Biz Now, where your business matters.
We'll return to Local Biz Now with entrepreneur Joe Vagnone.
So, have you been working on any deals in the middle of disasters that have changed those deals significantly?
Oh, absolutely.
So you had deals going when COVID broke out. You had deals going on in 2008 when the economy took it.
Every crisis, we have had deals that have fallen apart. I can remember 9/11. I can remember back 9/11, I was selling a book of 3 franchises.
Okay.
The package of 3 franchises. And literally we were closing the official closing for this person to buy these 3 franchises, right? Was 9/12. And of course,
uncertainty hits.
well, back then we would meet somewhere, right? You know,
Oh, yeah.
what I mean?
Right,
You didn't
in person.
do this virtual thing, right?
Right.
And he just simply didn't show up. And we called him. Yeah, man, I got to tell you something. I knew a lot of people in New York that had friends in the building. I'm just not comfortable. Like, I didn't realize here in Charlotte, North Carolina, how that affected, and I think I read somewhere, 1 in 5 people knew somebody who was in that building. You know, I didn't realize how
a mass grief. And
Right.
when grief, especially the death of someone, when grief hits,
But,
put a hold on it.
But that because it was New York and they came from all over the world, right?
Right.
So the odds of you knowing somebody were 1 in 5 chance, right? And so
Right.
it was. So he just was devastated, and he just assumed that
everyone
we
else,
knew.
right.
We just wouldn't. We certainly wouldn't be doing that right after 9/11.
Sure.
And
Sure.
I remember. Of course, it was a big deal for me. I was angry and mad, and and I couldn't comprehend it. Like really? I mean, just because of that, you're not going to do a deal.
I see you.
It probably
gotcha.
probably took me 6 months to realize it was a really big deal. You know, it was world altering.
Yes, it was.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And so, ever since then, when these crises hit, we lose. We got somebody that literally 2 weeks ago
Todd, can you hear me all right?
said this economy and the election
All right, cool deal.
is scaring
Excellent.
them to death, and they're uncomfortable.
All right, I'm getting you
They
just
just
perfect. We are
simply,
coming back in 10 seconds.
Don't want to move forward.
Continues now on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
You are listening to the #1 live talk business radio show in North Carolina, coming to you live from the Burners Cigar Studio. Burners is the home of premium cigars and exceptional people. Life is good at Burners Cigars, located in Brookdale Village and also Highway 16 in Denver. Go by there and tell them that Joe sent you. You are listening to Local Biz Now, where, say it, James, say it, say it.
Your business matters.
That voice is James Sanders. James is the founder and owner of Shared Resources. James, my friend, thank you so much for being here, buddy. You're gonna talk about what we should do to prepare for a crisis.
Yes. So, well, let's talk about the crisis has hit already. Now,
Well-
what are we supposed to be doing? Hopefully, we prepared well enough. Some of these answers, people are going to say, I don't have that. So we'll talk about that. But the first piece is data recovery. So in this scenario, you're a main street, you're flooded, your place is closed, you can't get to it, you're just dead in the water. Is the term.
And a lot of retail people have this problem because their stuff was not attached to a cloud-related scenario, right? It was simply something that was held within their cash register system or something like that. That was an old school problem that we had for years. So if your POS system,
Yes.
point of purchase system,
point of sale.
is connected to the cloud, then all that data will be there. If not, it is gone.
Right. Modern solutions tie into databases of inventory and that type of stuff. Everybody's getting to a turnkey solution to support your industry, whatever that industry may be. But let's say you're flooded. Hopefully you have some cloud backups. Now would be a great time when you get the attention span, when you're not dealing with real problems, real life problems, to get a hold of your IT person and say, hey, can you check my cloud backups? Tell me what we're looking at. Tell me what the process is. So reach out and get some help right away. A lot of people still back up to USB drives, right? So maybe under that desk on the bottom floor where the water was, maybe there's a hard drive. Those hard drives, even though they're wet, very frequently are not ruined.
Really?
So you may be able to restore from that. Don't give up.
Put them in a big bag of rice.
Oh, no.
Well, that's
Too
what
soon.
you tell me to do with the phone.
It's too soon for that.
Okay.
It's too soon for that.
Okay.
No, I'm
Okay.
trying to give him some hope.
Okay, excuse me.
So,
okay.
but you're right. That
Okay.
bag of rice trick works.
Okay. Okay.
There are many data recovery programs. Drive Savers is one of them. They can pull data back. It's not cheap, but it's better than going out of business. Next thing you need to take a look at is establishing some sort of temporary operations. So if you're and you know your business better than I do, how are you going to work temporarily until you're able to get back in business? Some of those businesses are going to spend 6 months out of their buildings. Some are on roads that they won't get to the other side of for much longer than that. But in the meantime, let's figure out something. Let's set up working from home. If we had cloud services, let's work on that. If we didn't, let's get our data up to cloud services and maybe take a look at temporary location. I saw here in Cornelius, it was Catawba Science Center that set up desks, computers, and internet access for people coming out of Asheville.
Right.
So there are temporary locations that people can use. And right now, because it's a hot topic, everyone in the world wants to figure out, how can we help you? How can we help you? How can we help you? Ask for it. Look for a temporary location to work from. There are a lot of people that want to know what's up with your business. There are stakeholders in it. There are employees. There are customers. There are lenders. Everyone wants to know what you're up to. Start communicating. Start communicating as best you can with everyone to keep everyone involved. An easy way to do that.
And that's a big deal, right? Because just that communication alone makes people feel comfortable, whether it's a vendor, a supplier, or a customer.
That's correct.
And the fact that you're even taking the energy to reach out,
At a time,
we are here.
At a time when your driveway is impassable.
That's right.
When you call that banker to say, hey, this is where we are. I've talked to my IT guy. These are what we're doing. We're looking at this location, blah, blah, blah. It's going to set them far, far more at ease than they were before.
Right, right.
So, start looking at
It's a simplistic statement, but it means a lot.
Communication, yes. And any lender that you're working with is going to take that into account and think of you when the program's open.
Let them sweat a little.
When the program's open to help you out of this hole. So, but an easy way to communicate with the masses is to set up a temporary internet site. And internet sites are as cheap as $20 a month. You can throw a Wix website up and just put a quick domain name like the status of sharedresources.com or something dumb like that so that people can reference that. If you were not before, then it's time to take a closer look at e-commerce. We have talked about this for years, how it is a technology that is changing the landscape of small businesses. If you're not doing something online, selling some sort of goods or services, you need to be. You need to have a website. You need to have your products up there. You need to be talking about it. You need to make it easy for people to buy and find you. So maybe from what's left of what you have, it's going to give you the opportunity to grow back stronger. Phoenix type. I was going for out of the ashes, but we're not dealing with ashes.
I got
this
you.
time. Okay.
I got you.
Out of the soggy mud. Out of the mud will evolve this.
Grow the seed of prosperity.
Hey, check your online banking. Keep track of that. Shoot for as normal routine as you did before. If you're a small CPA and every morning you came in and checked those 28 different accounts that you're responsible for to make sure nothing weird's going on there, in a time of crisis, hackers and cyber thieves will pounce. Where many of us are distracted. I'm distracted just thinking about other people's businesses. So be alert of what you're doing. Pay attention. Scams are aplenty at times like this. Before you go donating to try to help someone, vet them, and start searching for the financial assistance. The sooner you get your name in that, your applications in, the sooner that'll get to you. Backup and disaster recovery planning. If you did not before, then you have learned your lesson at this point about backup and disaster recovery. And all of those strategies and those plans should include the things we've talked about so far. The plan for data recovery, the plan to establish temporary operations, the plan to communicate with everyone else, the plan to change your organization so that it doesn't rely upon brick and mortar, a building.
And just taking the time to do that is a scary exercise, right?
Yes, it is.
You're asking me to think about not having access to the very things I need to operate my business.
The things that are you, you know? We're going to be talking about the 80-20 here momentarily.
Yep.
You take a look at a small business entrepreneur, and they may be 80% business-minded, 20% the rest of their life-minded. And so when you take away their ability to focus on that 80%, it's going to rip the rug right out of underneath them. They're going to be feel very out of place. Chin up, focus on the future. Take this opportunity to evaluate your needs and how you can do things better. Start some training exercises. I know during COVID, Duolingo. So many people signed up for that. Now is an opportunity to train for the future.
Well, and now is a great, at the very least. Here's Joe Vagnone, small business broker in Cornelius, North Carolina. Here's the very least you should be doing right now, right? If you're in Western Carolina and Asheville right now, right? Get a piece of paper out and write down all of the pain points that you have. Because my wife's friend did that and sent the list to all of her friends, and my wife and I were reading it and thinking about, we didn't think about that. I wouldn't have thought of that as something that I need to give consideration to, right?
Yeah, learn from this.
Yeah, so that list at a point where you feel the pain, I wish I had this, I wish I had this, I wish I had this. That alone will be very helpful so that when you do feel like solving some of these problems or thinking about them, that list will be what you'll work from. That's probably the biggest piece of advice I could give somebody. Now is the best time for that. I also would suggest you would be helping a lot of us. You got nothing to do, sitting in the dark on the second floor because your downstairs is flooded in Western Carolina. Make this list and send it out for the rest of us so we can start thinking about what should be prepared.
We will learn.
For.
There will be some great motivational speeches that come out of here that give us insight to disasters that you and I hopefully will never actually experience for ourselves.
That's correct. That's absolutely correct.
But if we focus on the technology side of things, also we're going to grow back stronger. And that was my point in writing this writing this article, was to give those businesses a quick outline to keep them focused on something more positive.
So remind everybody again what Shared Resources is all about and how they can reach you, my friend.
Absolutely. We're a managed service provider. That means we provide IT services for companies that are too small or smart enough not to hire someone in-house. And we are at SRONC, Shared Resources of North Carolina, SRONC.com, 704-655-0615, 704-655-0615.
So it's important that people realize if they contact you, you'll help them with this list, right? You've done this, been there, done that. You will help them through all of this planning, and make them feel much more comfortable that it won't happen again in the future.
I give guidance for free all day long. The execution is where the value is. And so I'm grateful to help with the execution.
And Julia's put your website on the book. Just to remind people on the radio, we are live on the book, on the tube, on the X. For those of you that don't know Joe Talk, that's Facebook, LinkedIn, and
YouTube,
X,
and Twitter,
and all the otherness podcasts. So if you're driving, you want to listen to it, you can go to WSIC Facebook. We are live, and also all these contacts and connections. You'll see them on the chat, and you can click to that link. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. This is Local Biz Now.
Well done, Joe. Right up to the second. See, that's practice there. That is practice and experience.
I think I missed it. Hey, Wilton, we got.
Here he is.
We got Nuckols.
You got me.
Nuckols. We got Nuckols. Okay, can you hear me? Okay. Yep.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me, buddy?
I can hear you great.
So, back by popular demand, we appreciate you doing this, buddy.
Appreciate you having me.
So, take this conversation anywhere you want to go. James and I are prepared to continue to have a conversation on the 80-20. You had sent me something else.
Yeah, last week I trained 17 business owners, and the topic was building a bulletproof business, which I think would fit right in with everything you guys have been talking about. But it would be on the front side, preparing them for things like this.
Absolutely, yes.
Bulletproof business. Got it. I couldn't remember what it was that you want to talk about. And I had it on the email, but for some reason I lost it.
Well, I have a copy of an email from you, Todd.
Okay.
But
you got it, did you?
nothing attached.
Right. I didn't get an attachment either. But on my phone, the attachment showed up.
Oh, yeah?
Isn't that weird?
All right.
There you go. Yeah, I sent over the slide deck. Is what I sent over.
Yeah, see? Slide deck fold.
Oh, yeah. See, that's nice. I may not be on that list.
Really?
That's okay.
Well, you're not special.
Oh, I can come up with stupid
you're
questions
just a co-host.
without a list.
You're not a host. You're a co-host.
I know. I get it.
You understand? I'll make this look easy.
If you had seen me last week, though,
That's right.
I would have got that attachment.
You would have got this. That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
And I throw up in my mouth every time I say it, but I'm glad you're here, Joe.
Todd, I was on a 30th year anniversary trip with my wife last weekend. So, James, for the first time, hosts the show on his own.
All by myself.
So that's what we're talking about.
And I broke a sweat, and it got down to the last minute, and I couldn't remember what station numbers we're at. I'm looking around the place. Sometimes it's on the TV that we're seeing you on right now, and I was like, oh, no, it's not up there. I got 48 pieces of paper trying to keep my notes straight to ask smart questions. Oh, it's horrible. Horrible. A lot of pressure.
So, Nuckols.
Yes,
I know that was your nickname in high school. I know it was. You can't tell me it wasn't. Come on.
Huckleberry Finn. Knuckleberry Finn.
Really? Really? I mean, Knuckles just works.
I don't know, but Knuckleberry Finn, that's a great one. I hope you don't have nightmares because I'm laughing about it this many years later.
You are sending the poor boy back to therapy.
Back to therapy.
Right. That's right. 30 years later.
All right, guys. About 30 seconds. 30 seconds till we're back.
30 seconds, Todd, and we're going to be live.
Oh.
Trying to boost slumping auto sales. And after 2 decades of fits and starts, DirecTV is buying rival satellite TV provider Dish for $1. It's also taking on a ton of debt. And if and when that merger is approved, the combined company will be the nation's biggest pay TV provider. Tom Busby, Bloomberg Radio.
It's Local Biz Now with Joe Bagnone on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Yeah. #1 live business radio show in North Carolina, home of Burners Cigar Studio. Great people, premium cigars. Life is good at Burners. Go by Birkdale Village and tell them Joe sent you. You are listening to Local Biz Now. We hope to inspire, inform, and entertain you, because that's what we do here at News Talk WSIC, where your business matters. I am here with my co-host, James Sanders. He is the founder and head bottle washer and dishwasher of
I take out the recycles.
Shared resources technology. James, thank you for being here, buddy. I appreciate it.
Grateful to be here. Thank you.
We have live on the tubes Todd Nuckols. He is the author of the 80-20 Business. Big results from small change. Those of you that watch the show a lot, you may remember him. We interviewed him. I only got through about half of the book. I told him how much I really enjoyed it, and we wanted to get him back again, and he has been gracious enough to come back and talk to us. So
we're back for the other 40-10?
That's right. That's right.
Very good.
That's right. That's right. So Todd Nuckols, author of 80-20. Thank you, my friend, for being here.
Hey, great to be back. Great to be back. Sorry,
So
you guys are
where are you calling us from?
I'm calling you from Amelia Island, Florida. So we didn't get it like you guys got, but we got a little bit of rain and wind from this. But yeah, no, it passed by us, and I saw the devastation that it did in North Carolina in particular. So hang in there.
Thank you. Yeah, well, you being from Florida, you know what these disasters are like. About every year and a half, you get one.
Exactly.
So, break it down for us. 80/20. Describe the inspiration for wanting to write this book.
Absolutely. So I have been working with small business owners for 25 years. And when I wrote the book, the thing that I knew for a fact is small business owners need to know what to take off their plate, not what to add onto their plate, because they're dealing with everything. And so the premise of the book, as you'll see in the chapters, is teaching them what to focus on and what to remove. And that's where the 80/20 rule, the Pareto principle, comes in, because they're going to get 80% of the results from 20% of their activities, good or bad. And so it's important that they understand what that 20% should be.
So give us a little bit of your background, because you don't wake up on a Tuesday and write a business book like this without having some experience to get there.
Absolutely. Coming out of graduate school, I joined a consulting firm, worked for them for about a decade, and cut my teeth. And then for the last 15 years, I started my 80/20 business coaching program. I've traveled, coast to coast, even up into Canada, and worked directly with small business owners, interviewed hundreds and hundreds of workers along the way, and just learned what it takes. Because if you're running a small business, it's completely different than working in corporate America. If you come out even with an MBA and you decide you want to work in corporate America, all you've done is prepare to work in one area within a large corporation. And when you work as a small business owner, you're wearing dozens of hats. And so everything that I've developed is about helping that person, the person that has, a lot of balls in the air and spinning a lot of plates.
So I don't call me a cheater now, you understand. But I went to the Terminator, and those of you that don't know, that's what I called a Chat GT or whatever
AI, large language model.
I call it the Terminator. Okay. Yeah. I went to the Terminator and I asked it to summarize your book.
Oh, wow.
And they gave me 3 bullet points. Number 1 says prioritization. Number 2 says efficiency, and number 3 says real-world applications. Would you agree with that summary, that your approach is to prioritize, come up and be more efficient, and then apply it in a real-world setting? Does that fit? Did the Terminator catch your book?
Yeah, it did. Actually, it did quite well. Ask it to write a duplicate.
A sequel.
So the one that caught me right off the bat was prioritization. Talk about that, because, I don't know if you remember or not, but I've got a long-term employee. She's been with me about 9.5 years, and every now and then I will overload her, and she'll let me know, you understand. Those of you out there, don't feel sorry for Julie, you understand. She will clearly let me know when she's had enough, right? And my answer is, whoa. Just prioritize. I'm not telling you when to get all this done. I'm simply saying prioritize it, and let's just take it one by one. And so it's how you can achieve much more if you simply define in your mind's eye what's important and what we can wait to another day to take care of.
Absolutely. And I actually have a little exercise I created called Finding the Fives. And what I do is I have a person, an owner, workers, whatever the case may be, list all of the activities they have yet to do, and then rate them 1 to 5. 5 activities brings you cash back quicker. Anything at a 3 or below, you can push off for another day. So right there is a quick exercise to help you prioritize what's first, second, and third in your day.
Right. It's funny you say that, because that's exactly how I prioritize for Julie. I said, Julie, if it's somebody's going to write us a check, what do you say we deal with them first?
let me ask you this, because I start the day probably working on those 2s and 3s, pushing through communications. Email and communications will bog me down right off the bat, and they are not cash generating, but those people are looking for communication from me.
So most of these emails are customers wanting something or needing.
Yeah, customers are sorting through vendor offers, just the pile of email. So if those are not directly cash generating, can I just stop responding to my email, please?
Well,
Todd, will you give me permission to do that?
Yeah, I will give you permission. Delay it an hour or two because, here's a couple things here. If you don't do your most important tasks first thing in the morning, you will probably not get to them because that vortex of a day will suck you in and you'll just go crazy. And so I always like to prioritize the most important tasks first. Now, the other thing is all of us, our energy is like a battery. And the longer the day goes on, the more the battery starts to drop. And so, you need to have the energy for the most important tasks. So I would recommend you just delay it an hour or two and then hit the ground running.
Important tasks.
So one of the things, a question that I wrote down is, how do I identify this 20% that is the most productive thing that I do during the day, right? How do I, because, when I read your book, it sounds a whole lot easier than it is, right? Because to James' point, I have to do number 1, 2, and 3, right? And then the number 4 might, in fact, get me a check, right? But prioritizing those, it gets kind of challenging for me. How do you sort of define that 20% sweet spot?
Well, again, going back to what I said earlier, it starts with some sort of activity list of exactly what you touch all the time. That's the first thing. And then usually that's where I get involved. People send me their list and we talk through that and I help them make those decisions. But again, look at anything you can hand off to a worker. In that case, is something you should hand off very, very quickly. Again, going back to, what brings you cash, what doesn't. The things that only you as the owner can handle or what your list should be. And, sometimes owners want to handle everything because they don't want to let go. And that's a whole nother issue in itself. So, it's a matter of talking it out after you have your list. Get your list, talk it out with someone, me, anybody. And that helps you a bunch.
And it's been a while since I actually read the book. This applies to personal life as well. I mean, we're not just having this conversation for business owners.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it really does. 20% of what you eat gives you 80% of your results, good or bad. Same thing for exercise. Same thing for any other part of your life. It absolutely applies.
What would you say? What is toughest to quantify when you're looking at the 80-20 and trying to decide what's 80 and what's 20? What is it? Is it like, I don't know how I'd put a finger on effort?
No.
Or energy.
Todd, where he's going in my mind is customer service or after the sale. That's hard for me to quantify in my world, right?
Sure.
After I've sold the client, they trust me, but they want continuous information and feedback. But there's not going to be a check today when I call them, right? You know what I mean? That's a great question.
Yeah, that's a little more difficult. Obviously, anything that's not, fact-based and tangible, it's a little bit harder. But, things like, are they referring you to other people? Are you getting great customer reviews? Those are all tangible things to tell you that your customer service is that 20% that's giving you the 80% of your results.
So, Todd, we got to go on break. We've only got about 30 seconds. If somebody wanted to reach you, how could they reach you, buddy?
My first name, Todd, at toddnuckols.com will reach me, and we'll have a conversation about that.
That sounds great, buddy. We really do appreciate you doing this. Todd Nuckols is the author of The 80-20 Business, Big Results from Small Changes. Todd Nuckols. Todd, my friend, we thank you so much for being here today.
And Todd, when you come back, can you talk about the Bulletproof Business Project that you're doing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
You got it. You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagno, and I'm here with my buddy and co-host and friend, whether he will admit it or not, owner of Shared Resources. We'll be right back.
There's more
My mind went blank. Who is this guy I'm talking with?
Oh, Todd, we can't hear you if our headphones not on. But yeah, you want to pull those slides up, Joe?
No, I can't.
No. You need some tech support?
Well, because we don't have them.
the middle of the slide deck.
They showed up on the phone. They did not show up on the email.
Oh, I see.
So to answer your question, no.
Yeah.
And to answer your other question, yeah, I need IT help always.
I'm sorry, I wouldn't take on your account. I feel like that would be 80% of my time for. It would just hurt. Now I have had many prospects that I've looked at and I'm like, no way. No way, you know? I just wouldn't do it. So
Yeah, no, I do not. I don't understand it, but I do not have that on my email.
that's all right. Todd's got this.
It must be.
Yep, I got it.
Todd's,
okay.
He can probably do it right off the top of his head.
We're going to have to, aren't we?
Which- we'll just think of smart questions on the fly. Can you do that?
No, that's why
Okay.
you're here. The
Just
big,
ask a lot
Well,
of,
this is-
ask a lot of open-ended questions, and
Yeah.
we'll go from there.
Todd, when I first read about Pareto principle, then I really stopped and stared at everything in my life, right?
Yeah.
And I dug in and I tried to apply it many, many, many places. And I came to the realization that I may be applying this too broadly. So I don't think I'm a huge fan. Military trained in continuous improvement.
Wow.
And so, was it Kaizen? I think I've heard it pronounced differently over the years.
Yeah,
But,
Edward Dimick's into that. Yeah.
yes.
TQM. Yeah.
TQM, yeah. So, huge fan. But the 80-20 was tough. I found
guys,
myself
30
spending
seconds.
a lot of time
Wilton, I need
evaluating
the,
things, trying to make it fit when it did.
the burners.
cigar. Yep. But I think we got less than 10, 15 seconds here. I'm excited to have you on here. I appreciate it. I'm
Hey,
glad I'm here for this.
Thank you.
Is that binder behind him?
WSIC.
I'd give
Local
$400.
starts here.
Yeah. Number one live talk business show in North Carolina. I am Joe Vagnone, and I'm here with James Sanders, founder of Shared Resources. This is Local Biz Now, where your business matters. Those of you that are listening live on the radio, I am holding up my burner cigar, puff of smoke, that says this is on Joe. Fire it up, Wilton.
Savoring the Flames takes a whole new meaning at Burner Cigar. This is Josh Johnson, and after a long day, there's nothing quite like the relaxing ritual of lighting up a premium cigar. Join me in discovering the true art of relaxation with every draw.
And here's the reality. James, you and I both are cigar smokers.
Yes. In
That's
fact,
that's a true statement. It is a very relaxing thing to do.
It is the only time that I sit still for about 30 minutes. The rest of the time, I am go, go, go. So it is a quality of life thing for me.
And I've been telling people this for years. When I smoke a cigar, it's this great equalizer. You know, I could be sitting next to, high school, math teacher. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
And a IT guy.
Right.
And a small business broker. And all of us are on this equal footing as we're sitting smoking. And I've told people for years, a cigar is a lot better than a game of golf in a business setting.
Yes, absolutely.
Because it's 45 minutes to an hour.
That's right.
And I get one-on-one conversation with you.
and I do-
playing golf. I'm chasing that little white ball around, and if I'm lucky, I might get a chance to talk to you in between holes.
Right. And the first thing I notice is that, I pay attention to what you're smoking. This is me at Burners. I see what somebody's smoking, and then we chit-chat about cigars a little bit, and then later in the conversation about what they're up to. So they're rebuilding transmissions down in Charlotte, but they own the place, and they're the third generation that's been doing it down there, and that type of stuff. So, yeah, it is a great networking opportunity. It's a tasty one. When you hold up that sign, honestly,
It makes you feel good, doesn't it?
yeah.
So anyway, so please go by Burner Cigar. They're in Birkdale Village and also Denver Highway 16. go on by there, tell them Joe sent you. And if you hold up a sign just like this, they will give you the first cigar as long as you post this on your social media. We appreciate you doing that. Let's get back to business. We are here with Todd Nuckols. Todd is the author of 80/20 Business, Big Results from Small Changes. Todd, my friend, thank you for being here, buddy.
Great to be here. Great to be here.
Todd, it's the 80/20 rule is out there and has been out there for decades. Yes. But it's tough to apply, and so you are here to help and coach and train us through that kind of. And you've got Bulletproof Business. What is that about?
Well, the Bulletproof Business really started in 2020 when I started to see challenges that people were getting into, and it's kind of evolved from there. But last week I taught 17 business owners how to create their bulletproof business for the first time. And, to have a bulletproof business, I don't care what industry you're in, I don't care, what you do, there's only 3 areas you really have to cover. The first thing you have to do is have strong financials. You talk about what's happening in North Carolina right now and things like that. Number one, you have to have a strong balance sheet, and most business owners don't even know how to read their balance sheet. So what I do is after I teach,
don't brush over that. That's a true statement. That
is true.
I am telling you, I've made this. It's anecdotal, but I believe I'm probably right. About 75% of my clients cannot read their balance sheet or their P&L. They cannot interpret and use it to a management level that would help them. So you are absolutely correct about that.
The very first step that you provide, Joe, in looking at businesses, is you say, get someone else to do your books.
Well, it really is, because they don't do a good job, or I'm sorry, your wife is not qualified for the level that it needs to be, or she doesn't do it fast enough, because timing is the key to the P&L, right? It's about timing. And if you get it too late, as a manager, you can no longer use it as a tool.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. I mean, 90% of small business owners run their business by the checkbook. If there's cash in the bank, things are good. If there's not cash in the bank, things are bad, but they don't understand the why. And so that's why when you learn to read your financials, you can predict some of these things. Your balance sheet is your scoreboard. It tells you whether you're ahead or behind in the ball game. More importantly, it tells you how many touchdowns you're up or behind. It tells you how many minutes are left in the game. And if you learn to read that at the end of every month, and by the way, it only takes about 5 minutes to read your balance sheet correctly. And if someone will send me an email, todd@toddnuckols.com, I'll send you a free tool to make it even easier. So that's the first thing you have to read and understand. There are key ratios you have to read from that, and send me an email. I'll teach you that. And then it goes to the P&L. Your P&L is just that replay. That's all it is. It's the replay of the last month, last quarter, last year. And you can make cash decisions based on that. And then I actually throw in another document called the cash flow statement, which most business owners don't have. Heck, most accountants don't even do, but that's your true cash position. So those 3 things are what you have to learn to read to create a bulletproof business on the financial side.
And so,
Very nice.
And let's touch on that just a little bit, Todd, because what I want small business people to hear is once you have the information, I bet you're going to make different choices and decisions. So it's as if you're guessing or using your gut, and you're right 50% of the time, and you pat yourself on the back or you beat your chest and say, look, honey, look how good I've done. And you and I are saying, but if you read your P&L and you look at your percentages, you could be right 80% of the time, right?
Exactly,
I want people to hear that.
Yeah, you'd have time to pull the plane up before it crashes, is what
That's right.
The important part of that.
All right, strong financials, and that's being able to read and react appropriately to a strong balance sheet, a P&L, and a cash flow statement. What's the second piece of a bulletproof business?
The second piece of a bulletproof business is having a solid organizational structure. Now, I only work with family-based businesses. Now, many times when I start working with them, they are not organized around functions like corporate America is. They're organized around people, which means uncles and children and brothers and you name it. And that's not good either. And so, there's only 4 major functions that every business needs to have. Somebody has to drive the car. That's the general manager. Somebody has to get work done. That's an operations manager, a sales manager to get work in, and sort of a, human resources manager to get things done. So those are the only 4 functions that need to be filled. And sometimes the owner fills more than one of those. But again, are you organized around functions or are you organized around people?
Todd, this is sort of hypocritical for us, right? Because we go to small business. Let me make the statement first, and I'll tell you a story. But the reality is, we go to small business people and we say, "Okay, let's build this thing around you." Right? What are you good at? What do you want to do? Why did you start the business? What's the why? And let's get you comfortable with the operation. Right? Well, that's a person, right? That's an issue. And then we tell them, now we want you to design the business that's not around your personnel, right? So there is some hypocrisy there. Now, before I let you answer that, let me just remind you, I've been hosting this show for 11 years because the owner says he likes that I don't mind people disagreeing with me. It's good radio, so it's okay if you don't agree with me on that. So.
Oh no, I completely agree with you. It's just that at some point the business grows up around their ears, and that's when they usually call me, because the same skills that got them from 0 to $500,000 or 0 to 750,000 in revenue are not going to get them to 1 million, 1.5, and that's when they have to run it like a business and start working on the business instead of just in the business. There is a point where they have to transition over.
I love it when you have guests on here that I feel like they're speaking directly to me.
Well, okay.
I'm taking notes over here. I'm
Absolutely.
scribbling. Now, what did he mean?
So
around functions or people? What the world?
Here's the reality. The reality is you build a small business off the backs of the owner. Mm-hmm. You grow it through systems, processes, and people in the right place. And that is 2 completely different skill sets. Right? And, I can remember when I looked up one day and I had literally built the largest closed market environment restaurant concept in the Southeast, right? You literally could not drive Charlotte Mecklenburg and look at a building that had 110,000 square feet or less, or more, and me not have some kind of food service in that business, right? And I had about 175 employees. And I'm telling you, I literally woke up one day and realized I can't run this. It's just not what I wanted to do. It wasn't my skill set. My skill set was in building. It was not in actually running the business. And Todd, if I had somebody like you, you probably could have figured out a way for me to keep the business instead of I decided to sell it.
Hey, Todd, we're getting close on time. I don't want to have to come back for the 1%. What is the third item? Don't leave me hanging.
The third item is having a solid sales and marketing plan. And this is a twofold plan. One where you get more from existing clients, like in your case, and then one where you're bringing in new clients. And you have to have some activities going on for both of those. And there's some simple ways to do that. Again, send me an email, todd@toddnuckols.com. I'll send you back a full plan on that.
I both love and hate this guy.
I know, he's great. And Todd, it never fails. I always run out of time. I don't have enough time with you, Todd. Thank you so much, buddy. It is such a pleasure. One more time, if somebody want to reach you, how can they reach you?
Todd@toddnuckols.com.
You also can get that on Facebook as well. Todd Nuckols, 80-20 business rule. Great coach. Big results from small change. Todd Nuckols, thank you, buddy. We appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you, Todd.
James Sanders, thanks, buddy. I appreciate you being here. Thanks for filling in last week, too.
I had a great time.
I tell people, I make this look easy. You understand that?
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I sweat the whole time, so.
You are listening to Local Biz Now, where your business
matters.
Go ahead. I didn't mean to step on you.
That's okay, man.
Do it, baby. Do it.
Your business matters.
Yeah. We'll see you next week. Thanks again, Todd.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Serving you better than ever before.
WSIC, Statesville,
Ah, man, I mean-
W290 DK Mooresville.